Hey, good morning everybody. This is Carolyn House of Carson with the finale. Let me just make sure that I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right Wi-Fi. This morning I'm coming to you without makeup and a little bit in shock. Good morning, Leah, because as you can see, this little one is sitting behind me on the sofa. He was trying to get coconut meat out of the coconut this morning because him and his friends with school go to the beach on Thursdays and have a little picnic there, and he was gonna take the coconut meat and roast it there with his friends, and he did it with a knife, and the knife slipped and he cut himself. He stabbed himself in the foot and it bled a lot. So I'm still a little bit in shock, but luckily we got it all under control. He just has to sit still and not move it so that the wound doesn't open again. So that was my morning this morning. Nevertheless, I'm super happy to be here. Today is the finale, the 9th. Ouch, yeah, it was ouch and scary. But it's all good now, so 1,000 angels around again. Thank you, angels. Day 9 of our 9-day journey. How has it been? Do you have any shifts? Is stuff flowing? Are new things happening? Let me know. I know from some of you I've heard, and things are already shifting and flowing. So that's awesome. I've really enjoyed doing these. I'm gonna have to think of something else to do now in the mornings, but I'm sure I'll come up with something creative that's just as fun. Yesterday I was announcing that the enrollment for the Pleasure IQ Mastermind is open. The Pleasure IQ Mastermind is really for those that are meant to bring huge amounts of money from the new universal money into this world and circulate it. And it's also for you if you're somebody who is working, within systems and structures that need upgrading, and that you are actually actively upgrading. So, you're somebody who's changing the system and changing the ways that things have been done into new ways of being. And as I am enrolling and filling this mastermind, I do have a little bit of time, and therefore I've also opened a few spots for single sessions, which I don't do very often. So if you've been wanting to just, get a little bit of my help, do a few constellations, reach out to me, because now is the time. Like I said, I don't do this very often, and now is the opportunity to do just a few single sessions with me, if that's what you like to do, or if that's where you're at. That's awesome to hear that good things are happening, and things are just, you can feel them, but they're not quite materialized yet. That's also good. So just keep staying with the high vibrational energy. So for those of you that are new to this and new to me, my name is Carolyn House of Carson. I am one of the leading experts in family constellations in the world. Good morning, Heather. Nice to see you. And let me know where you're watching from. I'm also the creatrix of the Pleasure IQ, which is my proprietary system that is designed to guide my clients and people in general into the paradigm of paradise. I am taking a stand for each and everyone that wants to and feels called to creating paradise now. Paradise now is a state of being where you feel things are right in your life, where you feel fulfilled and happy, where you are living in abundance and a flow of love and creativity and connectedness and contribution, and where you have energy because you are in alignment and because of the rightness of the feeling of what you're doing and how you're moving through your day. And so if you are ready to move out of a paradigm that is not paradise and into a paradigm that is paradise, reach out to me and let's talk, and let's see if I can help you further beyond these 9 days. The replays and everything that we've been doing are posted on the event page, and they will stay there. So you can go back and take yourself through. You can also still invite people and share this with people. And so for today, we're going to merge with our divine selves. It's been very interesting and eye-opening to see, how these lives have been unfolding. I never know, right? Because we're just basically setting the intention and then going with the field and holding the space for the field to make the movement, and then our souls adjust around that. And so that's the beauty of family constellations, that we don't actually need to know anything. We just need to be to and work with the, oh, hi Cassie, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, good to see you, Laura. Let me know where you're watching from. I was just saying this is the last one of 9 Facebook Lives I've been doing over the last 11 days or so. If you want to catch up, they are posted, all of them are posted on the Facebook Live event. In the post to the event, you can find on my profile. I've been posting and posting and posting, so it should be easy to find. And if you're having trouble, you can always private message me on Facebook. So let's do our and then dive into the work and see what wants to be revealed today. I have been doing collective constellations, and you're always invited to do your own, and I will explain how to do your own and guide you through your own parallel to doing the collective one. So with that, I'm inviting you to close your eyes, taking a deep breath in, letting your belly soften and exhaling. And for those of you that are wondering where I am, I'm actually in the tropics. That's why I have this reed roof and the structure. It's going to look differently soon, but the reed roof will stay. It's a requirement here because of the hurricane zone and so forth. And it's actually been a dream of mine to live in a reed covered house, because it makes me feel really connected to the natures and the elements all day long. And then the beach is just 100 steps this way, the Caribbean, and the trees out there are coconut trees, and I've been eating fresh coconuts and drinking fresh coconuts every day. Hey Joy, yeah, you're not far from me. It's just like an hour flight this way, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I am 45 minutes away from Tulum this way, and 45 minutes away from Cancun that way. Good morning, Mariana. Good to have you. So let's close our eyes and set the intention. I'm inviting you to take a deep breath in, letting your belly soften and exhaling, letting go of anything and everything that came before our time together this morning, yesterday, the day before, the weeks before, the months before, the years before, your entire past, just letting it all go. Inhaling again, letting your belly soften, and exhaling, letting go of anything and everything that still has to happen later today, tomorrow, rest of the week, rest of the month, rest of the year, your entire future, just letting it all go. And then inhaling one last time, letting your belly soften and exhaling, arriving in this present moment. And in this present moment, I'm speaking a prayer, I'm setting the intention for deep transformation and healing, upliftment, upleveling, for the letting go of any kind of passivity. I don't even know the word, passiveness. Passivity. Interesting. And I'm setting the intention, and I'm claiming our ability to fully merge and unite with our divine selves today, and to live in union with our divine selves as we go through everyday living. I'm claiming the peace, I'm claiming the abundance, I'm claiming the fulfillment, I'm claiming the joy, I'm claiming the wisdom, I'm claiming the emotional stability, I'm claiming the thoughts, I'm claiming the emotions, I'm claiming the energy, I'm claiming the physical upgrades, I'm claiming everything that comes with this merging. And I'm grateful that we can do this work, that we have this opportunity, that we have this opportunity in this lifetime to actually live as our divine selves incarnated in human form on this body and experience ourselves in our full potential, which to me, that is paradise. I'm claiming the release of all the shackles of smallness, all those shackles of the small self that we've put upon ourselves and that we put upon others. And that this does not mean we have to be perfect. It still means we're human. We're allowed to be human. We're allowed to be all of it. And so resting in this prayer and resting in this intention setting, I just let this prayer and intention be, knowing that it is carried out in joy and peace by simply saying, and so it is. Amen. Good morning, everybody that just joined. Nani, Lena, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're new to the series, there have been 8 more, and they're posted in the event, and the event is posted on my personal profile. It's been very profound. And today we're going to do a constellation. Good morning, Stefania. Good to see you. On merging with the divine self. So, the way this works is I work with these colored fields. They're foam pieces. You can choose your own things like magazines, washcloths, tablecloth. Jesus. Kitchen towels, washcloths, pillowcases, papers, pieces of paper, anything that you can step on. I will be doing a collective constellation. You can do your individual one. If you're doing your individual one, you choose pieces like I do in a minute, your own. If you're doing the collective one, you can either, the best thing is just to sit and tune in. You could lay down and close your eyes. You can sit and watch me and just be part of it and let yourself go through the experience. So today we're going to choose 2 pieces, one for the self and one for the divine self. And I'm just going to actually close my eyes this time and just choose them without knowing what colors they are. And if you have a few things, you can do the same. You can just pick one for the current self and one for the divine self. And just remember which one you picked for what. And I put my current self to the right and divine self to the left. And current self is brown and divine self is blue. Thanks, Nani. Good morning to you too. It's funny because this morning I was looking at the pile and I was like, we haven't used any browns or dark colors, so the colors actually don't have much meaning. Once you have your 2 pieces, go to a space where you can put them on the floor, so where you have space actually to do so. And intuitively place these pieces on the ground. I work on this magic carpet, on my little carpet here. So let me just put them down, and I'm just doing it intuitively. If you're doing your own, just put your 2 pieces intuitively down too. I'll show you how they landed. Let's see if you can see, it's too dark. So the self is right there, right in front. Here, the divine self and the other self is over there, and they're not quite looking at each other, but they're also not looking at each other. And I always start by stepping onto the field for the self. So I'm inviting you, if you're doing your own constellation, to step on the piece for your own self. And if you're just joining, you can just experience this. I'm doing a collective constellation around merging the divine self, and you can just receive the work. And if you're watching this as the recording, it's just as powerful as well. So I just stepped onto the self, our collective self, and it's interesting because when I'm looking at the divine self, it looks like the divine self is, I can see its back and it's basically standing like this, and I'm looking at it from from behind, right? I see its back and how it's looking up. And I feel a little bit forgotten over here. I feel like a little bit like, I wish I could understand this. I could understand what it's doing. I wish I could be it. I wish, it's not so much that I'm wishing that it would pay attention to me. It's more that I'm wondering about it. It's like, I wish I could be like it. I wish I could be more like it. And I do feel a little alone, lonely over here in this corner. I'm not completely lined up. I'm a little disjointed with this divine self. And I'm feeling just a little meh, you know? Not super terrible sad, but just a little, I don't know, meh. It's the best expression. So let me step onto the divine self. And if you're doing this yourself, you know, once you've stepped onto your piece, you can just see if your piece needs to move, if you want to step on the other piece, if the other piece needs to move, if something else needs to come in, like if you're standing on yours. Good morning, Sebastian. If you're standing on your piece, you can see if you're looking somewhere specifically on the floor and there's nothing there, then you can put another piece in there. And today we're doing a collective constellation around merging with the divine self. And I'm just stepping onto the divine self. And so the divine self is very much just facing, I want to say I'm facing the totality. Like, I feel like I'm looking into the light, and the light is the totality of, it's just the totality, I guess. It's the word that's coming. And it doesn't feel like I have a choice to turn around or be anything different, but like very connected to this totality. I'm very much in connection with this totality. So as this divine self, I'm wondering how I can include this other self. I'm aware that it's behind me. And I'm not sure if I have an answer right now. I feel like my job is really to stay connected up here, like to this totality, and I feel like there's a lot of light, and I'm just looking into the light. It's almost like I'm part of a ray of sunshine. So let me step back onto the self. And again, if you're doing your own constellation, just see if you need to move the pieces, see if you need to bring something else in, see if any of the pieces or both of the pieces or all of the pieces that you have need to move, if things need to be said. And when I was standing on the divine self, I was feeling into whether we needed something else to bring in the connection or something, but it didn't feel like that. So I'm just going to step back onto the current self. And so current self is moving more closely behind. It's almost going into like a, you know, making like a train. I'm not all the way over there. I'm getting in line to make a train. And I want to just try it out and see what happens if I just touch it and become a train. And then part of me is thinking, well, is that all we're going to do today? So we'll see. That would be a very fast and quick constellation, but let's just see what happens. So I'm just standing behind the divine self, and I'm holding it. And I'm also looking at the totality now. And it's a very strange feeling because it's like, well, this is all that we have to do. And then it's like, now what? Like, how do we, from this place, how do we live our lives and do anything? And it seems very impractical to just be like in a conga line. I feel like there's other people behind me, and it feels very impractical to just be in a conga line, and be looking into the totality of this light. Although it doesn't feel bad. So let me step onto the divine self again, and with this question of like, what do we do now, and how do we be in this world from this space? So I do feel like bringing in a field for children and a field for other people, all the other people. So I've picked the silver for children and the yellow for the other people, and I'm placing them kind of off to the left. And again, if you're doing your own constellation, you feel like something else needs to come in, you need to move, you need to step on other pieces, do that. Also, if you have questions, you can post them, and as soon as we're done, I will respond to you. So with the other people and the children in this picture, I do feel like I want to turn towards them. And I do feel now, as I'm doing that the divine self is lining up behind me and also shifting towards the children and the other people. And so now, instead of actually looking at the totality of the light, I actually feel more that I'm a ray now. Like now I feel with the divine self, and we're like part of the light. Sorry, this is a little dark. We're part of the light. And now the other people and the children can look at us just the way we looked at the totality and the light before. And that feels really nice and good. And so it's funny because when I'm looking at the children already seem like a ray of light. It's almost like I'm a sun ray and they're a sun ray and we're meeting. And then there's other people. And it seems like through me having gone through the process I just went through, they can go through the exact same process as well. Where first they look and then they turn and then they become a part of it. So it was a movement towards the light, connecting to the light, and then turning, and now just being a ray of light. And that feels really good. And it's funny because on this field now, it feels like that's really all that's required of us. Anyone in general, like we're just here to remember and reconnect to the light, and then just allow ourselves to be. Well, I'm gonna cry. So it's very touching for our for the collective to actually hear this and realize this, that all that's required of us is just to, and we know all of this in our cognitively, right? We know, like, yes, we're here to be the light, but to actually feel it is another thing. And this is why the constellations are so profound, because they literally imprint you and in your beingness and in your cell on a cellular level with this knowing, where it's no longer in here, but where it's like felt. It's felt reality now. And so that's why I'm having the tears, because it just really sunk into my beingness that this is really all that's required of us. And it's tremendously freeing and liberating, right? There's nothing else you or I have to be doing other than just remembering and reconnecting to the light, and then being it in our everyday life. So Wow. Just gonna sit down for a moment and put my phone down, even though the phone is very light, because I did this breakdance b-boy workout the other day. I am so sore, so I had to put the phone down for a moment. So, wow, I'm still feeling very. It's actually beyond words, because it's just profound truth. And so if you've been connecting to this, I'm just inviting you to not worry about, so how is this gonna, how's this gonna outpicture my life now? What do I have to do? You don't have to do anything, because the constellations, they work on your subconscious and your energy body, which makes 95% of who we are. And it's below our cognitive and below our conscious level. And so we can just trust that this work is done, that whatever needed to be shifted is shifted in that space, and we can just go about our day and be our normal, happy, joyous, and free selves, or whatever self you feel like you are today. And so with that, thank you for joining me. This was the ninth of 9 Facebook Lives that I've been doing the last 11 days. If you missed the first 8 and you want to go back, you can find the event and go on the event page, and all the replays are there. If you'd like to talk to me and see if you are either a fit for the mastermind, or if you just want to get a few constellations with me, now is the time to reach out, because my calendar and time is already filling and booking up fast. And thanks for sending me all the hearts, and it's my pleasure sharing this. I've had a lot of fun doing this, actually. It's been feeling really divinely guided and inspired, and also the amount of resistance that I've experienced in my during this time, starting from like the brakes falling off the car to the car battery being completely drained in the mornings right before I had to leave and get Maya right to school, Nuri stabbing himself. Every single morning, almost every single morning, there has been some kind of almost minor catastrophe. So we're doing great work, right? It means that if there's this amount of resistance and things trying to stop me from being present and being here and being fully on, I know without a shadow of a doubt that we are doing big work, and that you've been doing big work, and big shifts are along the way already. So thank you for joining me. I'm sending all my love to all of you. Please keep sharing this and sending it to people. And I'm sure I'm going to come up with something new very soon. That's funny. Your microwave bell just dinged even though it wasn't on. So let's just say it. Yes, thank you, Leah. So like I said, I'll miss doing this. So I'm sure I'm going to come up with something very soon. So be on the lookout. And in the meantime, again, thanks for joining me. Have a blessed rest of the week and rest of the month. All my love to you, and I hope to talk to all of you and connect with all of you over these next few days. So with that, I'm signing off for these 9 days. Again, all my love to you, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye, everybody.